It's Christmas out of season, and you're going to see me open this for the first time. So basically, well, I know what's in here, but otherwise I'm seeing it for the first time right along with you. So anyways, and this goes in with something I have had in mind, sort of a long-term plan for a while now, and once you see what's in here, you'll pretty much know what that plan is. And actually fairly well wrapped too. And yes, it is a Commodore 1660 300 baud modem. The answer originates switch, and of course the phone and line jacks and an audio input. Despite what other clown car posse members on YouTube will tell you, this is not an audio output to let you listen to what's going on the phone line, because it's already got a built-in speaker right there. It even says audio in. What this would originally came with was an audio cable from the monitor port, I'll say on a VIC-20 or 64 or say a +4 or 128, etc. would be the 5-pin or 8-pin DIN plug, except it only had the audio connection. And the terminal program that came on disk, which I don't have, would actually use 2 channels on the SID chip connected to here from the audio monitor port, just the audio. And since this modem only did pulse dialing on its own, they used 2 channels on the SID chip from any terminal program that supported it into here, and would actually, you could use the SID chip would generate the touch tones or the DTMF tones to dial the phone with touch tone, which has actually really made this popular, despite it only being 300 baud. It got really popular with phone freaks because you could put other things in besides the standard touch tones. Say the 2600 Hz tone for blue boxing, or any other tones for, like, you know, any of the other color boxes they're common in the day, like the cheese box or the red box and so on. So anyways, that's that for the moment, but I'm gonna bring you into the other room in a second and show you what else is part of the rest of this nefarious plan. So anyways, aside from this, which goes with my 64, which you can see is not quite set up yet, I'm still working on stuff for that. Needs a new SID chip, which will be the subject of another video. I'm also going to be doing some stuff with my other hardware, like the Atari 8-bits, along with the Commodores. In fact, this will, let's see, this will involve both systems. I've got a couple things in here which will be put into use. One of which is Friendly Neighborhood SX212, which is, of course, Atari's 1200 Hayes compatible modem. You can see it's only got the one phone line jack in it. But in addition to the SIO port, it's also got an RS-232, which back when this came out, I think it was 85 or 86. It uses an 8-bit, like 800XL or the XE machines, or the RS-232 and use, say, with an Atari ST. So if you went from an 8-bit to an ST, you could actually keep the same modem when going from one computer to the other. And yeah, so and let's see, where's the other one? Oh, yes. Here's another one, which now this is an Anchor signalman modem, which, as you can see, as you can guess, can use a 9-volt battery or a 9-volt AC or DC AC to DC adapter right there. And the full half-duplex switch or the data and voice connection. Now this one, being as it's in the same case but a different color as the MPP 1000C, which was the first modem I had on the 8-bit, the Atari 8-bits, but is thick from the connector. This is a male DB9 or DE9 as some people call it, and the MPP 1000C had a female DB or DE9, which connected to the joystick port on the 8-bit, which would have been right here, the second port on the XLs and the XE. And of course, this one, as I didn't find out till later after I got it, because I didn't pay enough attention, connects to the 850 interface, or a PR connection, or an RVerter, or something similar. That gives you RS-232. And the odd thing about this is it doesn't have auto dial or auto answer. I doubt it's showing up on the camera, but this here is the base of the telephone. It goes in here instead of, it doesn't go directly to the wall, but it goes, the cord out of the telephone goes into here, and the other cable plugs in from the handset. So you've literally got to pick up the handset to take the line off hook, dial the phone number from the phone line, and then set this thing to originate from your terminal program. Or if to answer, you'd have to literally pick up the phone again and set the modem from the terminal to go into answer mode, which it's not far removed from basically an acoustic coupler, and of course it's also 300 baud. And just one second, and of course you can see what this is. There's another one I got. It's actually the most recent one I got before the Commodore 1660. It's a MPP 1000E, which I also had one I've used, which I didn't, and this is the later brother to the 1000C. Seems to be much harder to find. Now, of course, this one has a disc, and originally they did have a cartridge, which I can make a reproduction of, and I actually had that with my 1000C, which I, of course, a manual. And this one, being nearly complete, is actually pretty good. They even included the power supply, and of course, like the 1000C, plugs into the joystick port too on most Atari 8-bits. I think on the 400 and 800 it may plug into port 3 or 4, I don't know, I haven't tried that. So anyways, they did have one of these picked up at a user group flea market many years ago, I think in early to mid 90s. I did use occasionally, and as you can see it's a bit bigger than the 1000C, and of course The original, those controls are all on the side. And of course, it has the phone and the full phone line connector and the telephone on here. And of course, this is 300 baud and only does pulse dialing. And it's got your power indicator off hook or on hook, or can't remember if that's on or off hook, but one of them, and the carrier tag on the front. But anyways, I will probably make a reproduction of some point in the near future, I hope. Reproduction of a cart for that as well, just so I can re-experience it on my own. Even though this does work fine. Yeah. And anyways, back to my plan is eventually I will have two Commodores over there. I will have this gray painted 64, which is sitting a bit back, sitting on the 2 drive where the scope is sitting now. And that'll go on my work table later on after I'm done some things, like fixing that 1050 and this other one over here, and that 1050 will go with this XF551, which I've modified to have a 3.5-inch drive, and my 130XE, which I've been working on, and it'll also have a zip drive. And I also have another 800XL, which I'm doing a RAM upgrade on, and the XE will have, the 130 will have one of these 1050s, and the other XL will eventually have 2 1050s and probably something like an S Drive Max or an equivalent. And one of those will be used for running a BBS, probably with one of these modems, probably the SX212, because it's the only one I got that does 1200 baud. And of course that will be a phone line BBS. I've narrowed it down to a couple different services. One is Bell, if they have the original POTS lines still available. Or I may go with a VoIP service based in Toronto, which I think uses the HT802, the data stream, I think it's called, VoIP adapters, which are configurable to use pulse dialing, and the codecs that can allow at least the lower speed, I think 300 and 1200, maybe up to 9600 or so baud, possibly, reliably. And also, at some point, my second 64 will get set up in this set of shelves someplace, and I'll get probably an SD card unit of some kind, like a